Do you know when do you have to use which, that, who, whose, where, and when? Well, in this lesson I'm going to explain you how and when do you have to use one relative pronoun. First of all, relative pronoun is an incredible instrument when you want to communicate to the other person extra information or to make clear of which person or thing you are talking about. If we are talking about a person, we can use who. For example, here comes Jenny, the girl who won $1,000,000 pesos in the lottery. Whose is using for possessions. For example, Yolanda, whose boyfriend was Daniel, broke my mother's favorite flower vase. When we are talking about something that is an animal or a thing, we use which or that. Words can be used in almost all sentences, except whether it have a comma before the space where the relative pronoun have to be. In that case, you only have the option to use which. For example, I noticed that in my mother's house, which I used to live, needs some remodelings to do. Relative pronouns for places and periods of time are where and when. In some cases, it is harder to distinguish when do we have to use each one. For example, I went to a huge bookstore space. I was 10 years old and it was in here space. I went my favorite comic, Mafalda. You could get confused of where do you have to put where and when. Someone would think that the correct word to fix the first place could be where, because in the beginning of the sentence we are talking about a place. But that's not the correct answer. What do you have to put is when, because after the space is talking about a period of time. And in the last space, the correct relative pronoun is where, because it's talking about a place, the bookstore. So, the correct sentence is I went to a huge bookstore when I was 10 years old, and it was in here where I found my favorite comic, Mafalda. So, that's the way that we could use relative pronouns.